ALC is here. I'm excited. We got dozens and dozens, over 70 different workshops, and we got meetings and conferences going on inside of the ALC. You got members of Congress, you have constituents, and people from all over the nation gathered together so that we can map a strategy. We can build a foundation to empower our community, and it starts with you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sharita Sterling Hernandez, and I'm the Vice President of Communications and Marketing with the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, Incorporated. Thank you. Thank you for joining us this morning for this compelling announcement to kick off our 44th Annual Legislative Conference. We are here today to discuss the CBCF's newest initiative, a dynamic community that will inspire ideas, decentralize the details that often create barriers to civic engagement, personalize public policy, and lift up leaders who are going to help us change our community for the better. This technological tool that we're introducing today is designed to create a virtual community of ordinary citizens who can explore, share, and get engaged in the public policy process. We recognize the limitless power of each of you and what you can do when you come together. So we are building a platform that will bring together civically engaged people from all over the country and provide them easy access to information. This initiative is the first of its kind in that it will provide real-time resources and easy access. Now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others the people who are going to be telling you more about this platform today. So as I call your name, please join me on the podium. I have with us our visionary, strategic, thought-provoking, push us to the limits, President and CEO, Shanice Washington. I have with us our chairman, who has given us a charge to initiate this program, and when the staff first learned of it, we were excited, but we said, you want us to do that this year? And so, Chairman Fattah from the great state of Pennsylvania. I also want to introduce Albert Al Motley, who has been a phenomenal thought partner and volunteer project manager for this initiative. He is the Chief Technology Officer with Matchbook Learning. And last but not least, Jen Mishori, the Executive Director and a founding member of the Young Invincibles, one of our many partners in this new effort. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Shanice Washington, and I'm going to ask that you hold your questions until the very end of the conference.
Thank you, Sharita, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning as we kick off our 44th Annual Legislative Conference, and especially to share in a very exciting announcement. We are proud to announce the launch of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Incorporated's newest initiative, the Permanence Project. The Permanence Project is a virtual community of policymakers, practitioners, thought leaders, and civically engaged people like you. We have never undertaken anything quite like this, and our ambitions are great. The goals of the Permanence Project are in keeping with our conference theme this year, It Starts With You. This underscores our organization's abiding belief that every individual has the ability to be the positive change that they want to see in their community. This project grows out of a recognition that the African American community is a rich one of diverse views, ambitions, accomplishments, and challenges. The Permanence Project says a lot about where we are headed as an organization. This initiative is part of our 21st century strategy to develop leaders, inform policy, and educate the public. Our goal through the Permanence Project is to empower individuals with information that will help shape an agenda in Washington and beyond that expand opportunities in education, healthcare, employment, and other critical areas for African Americans. This is an initiative designed to give greater voice to Black communities on public policy issues which impact them the most. The Permanence Project itself is a web-based interactive portal and virtual community for civically engaged people who are concerned about the issues and the future of Black communities. Users will be able to access public policy information, reports, research materials, and digital resources on an array of public policy issues. The Permanence Project will also feature commentary and editorials, information about upcoming events, updates, news, and alerts. And we all know that information is power. That's why we are building a vibrant community that provides users with traditional and innovative ways to access reports on the pressing public policy issues of the day. In addition to being a trustworthy source of information, the Permanence Project goes a step further. We hope through the Permanence Project, users will make connections, exchange information, and share new ideas about how we can work together to eliminate disparities and inequalities within the African American community. I'm excited to announce our first partner in the Permanence Project, the Young Invincibles. The Young Invincibles represent the interest of 18 to 34-year-olds. Co-founders Ari Matusiak and Aaron Smith saw a lack of young voices in the healthcare debate, so they created a website for them to share their stories. From that grew what is now a national organization that works to inform and encourage young people to change the status quo. On behalf of the CBCF, I would like to thank the Young Invincibles for having the vision and commitment to be our inaugural partner. And I would also like to extend a special thank you to Jen Mishery, the Executive Director and a founding staff member of the Young Invincibles, who has joined us today. In the end, however, the success of the Permanence Project will depend on each of you, and I encourage you to visit us at cbcfinc.org/Permanence Project. Become a registered user and stay connected. It starts with you. Now, please help me welcome to the podium, the visionary behind the Permanence Project, our board chairman, Congressman Representative Shaka Fattah. Thank you very much.
Well, let me welcome each and every one. All across the land, people are gathering themselves and are headed towards our nation's capital for our 44th annual legislative conference. First of all, I'd like to invite the co-chair, Congressman Bishop, to join me up here. He's here. Welcome. And Congressman Bishop is an extraordinary member of the Congress and is the leading ranking member on appropriations for military, construction, and Veterans Affairs. And he has donated a lot of his time in preparing this annual legislative conference. So we want to acknowledge that. Let me say that as people are coming to Washington, well over 20,000 hotel rooms will be rented. There'll be lots of meetings. There are over 70 forums and workshops. But this Permanence Project is an opportunity for us to be together all the time. And you won't have to get on a plane or a train to find your way to the Capitol. You'll be in contact in a virtual way with what is the shaping impulse of our nation, public policy, what's happening on the Hill, what bills are being introduced, debated, what the think tanks and those who have researched these various questions of public policy are thinking about them, and so that citizens will be empowered. Our entire democratic system of governance is dependent on an informed citizenry. And what we want to do through the foundation is to be the authentic link in an indispensable way for people all across the land to be able to have accurate information that they then can act on intelligently as it relates to areas that they have an interest in. And I talked this over with a great friend of mine who knows everything about creating powerful and purpose-driven virtual communities. Al Motley agreed and has volunteered to help the foundation put together this effort, and we are launching it at this ALC, and I promise that it creates a framework in which, rather than just come together for the annual legislative conference, we'll be able to conference and interact on an ongoing basis so that whatever the question is in Washington, whatever the issues are facing our communities throughout the country, and whatever's happening in other faraway parts of the world, there will be able to be a discussion in which is based on a set of facts in which citizens will be empowered so that their voices can be heard. So I think that this is going to be a history-making endeavor for our foundation. And when I ran for the foundation chairmanship, I laid this out as the most important part of the work that I wanted to achieve as chair of the foundation. I thank the board for its support, but most importantly, I thank our great president and CEO. Sharnice has done an extraordinary job in every way, shape, and form. The Congressional Black Caucus Foundation is stronger today. It's more active and more involved, and it is positioned to be a permanent, because, you know, presidents, members of Congress, we're all here for just a second. But this foundation has been here for more than 4 decades. It'll be here 4 decades from now. And through our now even more intimate ability to communicate through this virtual community, you'll be able to be part and parcel every step of the way. And Sharnice is leading us towards an even brighter future. So thank you as we open up this conference, and I want to present to you the best thought leader I could bring, not just to think about how to do this, but actually to actualize this effort around our virtual community. So welcome Al Motley Jr. And give him a warm reception, please.
Thank you, Congressman Fattah. And thank you to the CBC Foundation for inviting me to be a part of this great project. As you've heard, the Permanence Project is an exciting project that we're undertaking an initiative. Part of the project's role is to invite our pioneers and founding members to be future registrants to get personalized information about policy and information in America. My role in this project to be as a technical advisor and really a liaison for the foundation for its technical partners, and also just to really help them to put this project into scope and then also implement everything. My role is primarily to work on data integration, design, and then also the technical aspects of how they get the initiative together. I'm pleased to announce that the primary project technology lead will be designed by Define Clarity. Define Clarity is a design and technology consulting firm. The features of the platform will be shaped over time by users like yourself and individuals who decide to enroll as founding members of this great platform. And the great thing about that is that it helps people to actually have a voice and a part in designing what it looks like, how we're communicating with you, what information you will get, and the importance of how you will react and collaborate within this community. Some of the key features to look for as they're being designed and input by you are web-based information and related resources on policy and issues, personalized email notifications on policy, and ability to provide real-time feedback. I think real-time feedback is the key to this because it really gives you a voice in this process. And then your own policy profile. What's personal to you? What issues, what policy is important to you, your family, and your community? And then, of course, data reports and analytics. The CBC Foundation is really becoming a data-driven organization as they've been in the past, and then also taking that to the next level with this platform. As starting now with this press conference, we're calling on people to step up and become a part of this great initiative. We're asking people to enroll as beta testers and help us shape this community and virtual environment. To enroll, you can go to the website of www.cbcfinc.org/Permanence Project. That's PERMANENCE project. There you can enter basic information about yourself and take a part of this great initiative. During this week and moving forward, there'll be a variety of ways for you to actually enroll and become a part of this initiative. There'll be digital signage throughout the conference. There will also be people giving out information in either your conference registration materials, and you may see myself and other foundation staff members with iPads and other mobile tools asking you to sign up. So don't run if you see me. I'm just coming to actually enroll you and hopefully invite you to be a part of this great project. Once you're signed up to be a permanent, one of our founding members of the Permanence Project and a pioneer, you'll get communications from us letting you know the next steps and what it's going to look like over the next few months as we look for our beta launch on this project. The beta is going to be important because we want to get feedback from you and get you involved in how this process is created. I'm privileged and honored to be a part of this process in my role, and I look forward to the next few months as we launch this historic initiative. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jen Mashori, and I'm the Executive Director of Young Invincibles. We're a nonprofit organization. We're dedicated to advancing economic opportunity for young adults between the ages of 18 and 34. At Young Invincibles, we work to lift up the voices of young people on top issues affecting our generation. So access to higher education, access to employment, access to health care. Young people, as you all know, especially young black men and women, are having a harder time getting by in today's economy. In a recent report we authored called Closing the Race Gap, we found that young black men and women need 2 additional levels of education to have the same chance of getting a job as their white peers. And our economy is recovering, but not fast enough for our generation. Young people across the country are having trouble landing work, and black young adults face unemployment rates nearly 3 times the national average. We're working at Young Invincibles to highlight those racial inequities in higher education, the workforce, and our healthcare system. It's this work that makes us thrilled to be a member of the Permanence Project. This strong network will empower us to explore the implications of policies, collaborate with partners on recommendations to address these injustices, and engage with young people most impacted by these racial disparities. So I'd like to thank the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation and Representative Fatah for being a leader on this, for including us in this important project. We're so excited to start engaging with the Permanence Project and really looking forward to that over the coming years. Thank you so much.
All right, we are at the moment in which we're going to address questions from members of the press. I do want to acknowledge one of the Congressional Black Caucus spouses who is also here, Mrs. Vivian Bishop, who's with us. It is an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. So if you're a member of the press and you have a question, this is your moment. I got a question over here. Okay.
My name is Paul McKinley. I freelance for Rebel Pundit. I'd like to ask you a question about Ferguson. Ferguson has opened up a can of worms all over the country, and in each one of the districts where this violence has happened, whether it's Chicago police, whether it be New York police.
We want a question.
No, I want.
I'm going to answer your question. I just want you to give it to me.
Can I frame it, Chairman?
No, I want you to be fair to everybody, and you can do what you need to do, but make sure we get a question at the.
Seem quite hostile.
No hostility, my brother.
Okay, well, let me ask you the question.
Okay.
The Black Caucus has been accused of, and I'm glad Mr. Bishop is here, of giving the voting that the police should have military stuff for the police department, and this need to be cleared up. In the community, they feel that why should the police have military grade weapons, and our people are being cut down in the black community like this. And Mr. Bishop, he's on that committee. I would like Mr. Bishop to answer that question, because it's like it was an accusation against the Black Caucus, and I love my black brothers, and I would like for them to clear the air about that. It's really to Mr. Bishop, Chairman. I apologize if I was out of line. Okay?
Congressman Bishop.
Thank you for your question. people have a lot of misunderstandings. We have communities all over this country, rural communities, small communities that don't have a tax base so that their law enforcement agencies are able to get the most updated equipment. And of course, that equipment is utilized for emergency services, police, medical services, and other disaster-related services. And so that equipment, which is paid for by your tax dollars, which is surplus for the military, can either be destroyed, cut up and destroyed, or it can be put to some use. And of course, one of the provisions that we have made in Congress through our laws is to allow some alternative uses of surplus property. And it's not the property that's the problem in incidents like Ferguson. It's the people who operate that property. And so what we need to be concentrated on is more community-oriented police programs, such as we had in the 90s, which will empower communities and people in communities to be able to have a dialogue and have a partnership and a collaboration with law enforcement as they assure that crime and other threats to the community are appropriately addressed. So that it's not a them and us, but it's a we in terms of addressing and the safety and the needs of our people in our communities.
Questions?
Hi, I'm James Wright with the Washington Afro-American newspaper. Permanence Project sounds good, but I have a question. What strategy will you have in terms of those who are not on the digital divide?
Well, we have, as in many instances, we have disparities. So you have many Americans who are online in a variety of different ways. You have some families who have no access in their home or on their person to online material. That is one of the reasons why the Congressional Black Caucus supported in the American Recoveries Act programs that created computer-based centers, community centers with computer access. So in Philadelphia, we have some 70-plus centers stretched throughout the city where people have access to computers at community-based centers, senior citizens' homes, schools, community centers, boys and girls clubs. And we also have opportunities like one of our sponsors, Comcast, has the Internet Essentials program, which allows families who are below the poverty level to have access to computers in the home, and which is something that the foundation wants to continue to promote. I got a tap on the back. I think Congressman Bishop wanted to jump in here.
Almost everybody in all of our communities has a cell phone, a smartphone. And those phones are capable of being connected. And of course, all of our people are utilizing that wherever they are, whether they have a computer, a desktop in their home or not. But they've got those smartphones. And believe me, our youngsters know how to use them.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Thompson Tuba. I am the editor of Health and Development. And my question is directed to the chairman. The visual outlet is very commendable. And I want to know how the CBC is going to take advantage of the meeting of, or the first USA-Africa Summit. You know that investment actually came up, and the Hill hosted some of those leaders, and some of those issues were discussed. But apparently we have been reading in the papers that many of these business deals are being done in a way that people who are non-black within America are going to benefit. So how are you going to use this to try to promote, you know, the African-American businesses to come on board and cooperate with the African businesses so that there may be more investment from that community to Africa?
One of the 70 sessions we're having is later on today is going to be on global economic opportunity. Part of what came out of the Africa Summit is about a $32 billion investment commitment relative to investments in Africa. Of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world, 6 of them are in Africa. So I think the world's attention, anyone who wants to make money, black, white, or otherwise, has now started to focus in on the continent. The caucus is always focused here. We, through Congressman Rangel and myself and many others, the Africa Growth and Opportunities Act was passed. We are now pushing for it to be reauthorized. We've also tried to get many of the economic development instruments of our government, whether it be the Overseas Private Investment Entity or the Import-Export Bank or others, to focus on deal flow, focus on Africa. African Americans have a unique opportunity as business leaders to be engaged in economic activity, but economic activity is never going to be singularly focused at any particular group. You have to, the work has to be done, and part of what you'll see over the ALC is you will have sessions in which that work can be made manifest. But on the virtual community side, what is important for businesses of every stripe, in this instance, African American owned businesses have to be very focused on this, is most of the government procurement at the federal level and now at the state level is now an online process in which bidding and chasing after contracts require you to be online. And one of the things that we want to create through the virtual community that we're setting up is to make sure that people have information about where economic opportunity exists, what procurement the federal government is engaged in, what investments we're making, whether they are overseas or whether they're here domestically, and what the and so that there's plenty of information that individual members' offices might have. But unless you're in direct contact with that office or have that information, sometimes it doesn't get to where it needs to go. So what we want to do is to make sure that through this platform that the foundation is setting up, if you're interested in economic development, you'll be able to go to that link and see what the procurement opportunities are, right? Where they are, where the capital formation opportunities are, what the Minority Business Development Agency of the federal government is doing, where it is, what it can do to help you. We got to take information and make it more manageable and accessible to the 40+ million African Americans and others in our country who could use that information for their empowerment.
We have time for one more question, and that will come from Hamil Harris.
I'm sorry.
Washington Post.
Well, I'm going to take a question and a half because you had your hand up. All right, so if you want to go first, okay, and then we'll go to you last. I'm sorry. You're coming next, all right? Okay, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Is that what you're saying? Okay, all right, well, I'm going to do this. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's go.
I just left an advisory board meeting at Cleveland State University, and I did go to Cheney and went to Berea College. I'm just putting that there. And what happens now is there's an attack on the Black Studies Department's names being changed to be multicultural. And Dr. William, who is the director of the Black Studies program in Cleveland State University, has to bring it to the caucus, because using that, I said, well, the CBC is the conscience of the nation, and the Black Studies departments are the conscience of the college levels and university. So we need your support in Ohio on that. And I wasn't going to talk to my congresswoman, but I said, let me bring it to the town hall because the advisory board asked me to.
I appreciate it, and as you know, this has been going on for a protracted period of time, over many decades, actually. But I'd be glad to make sure that we internalize that. And maybe next year we can even have a session using some of that as fodder for a broader discussion. All right?
What's your name and who are you with?
I'm Hazel Trice-Edney with the Trice-Edney Newswire. Just a couple of questions pertaining to
a couple of questions?
Well,
go right ahead.
Okay, the virtual community. The virtual community. Number one, is there going to be a cost to doing this exploration? And also, I'm not understanding, what is the timeline between doing the exploration and actually making an impact on the negative statistics in the Black community?
Okay, so first of all, there's absolutely no cost, right? That is that this is going to be a community in which you'll be able to access information that could be worth a lot to you and to your community, right? So, you know, if you want to know how to apply for a federal grant to deal with a disparity in education in your community, or healthcare, or a housing program, or whatever, that information is going to be available to you at no cost through this link. So you'll be able to address disparities, because as we said with the ALC, it starts with you. The truth of the matter is that all across our country, to the degree that challenges are being met, they're being met by people who are taking on those challenges. What we want to do as a foundation is to create an information base in which the resources of your government that you are paying for, right, is actually available to you, and that the policy debate on whatever the issue is, that you can be engaged in it in an active way. Last question.
Last question. Good morning, Hamil Harris, Washington Post. I think when you listen to everyone, this is the 44th Legislative Conference. When you think about the historical nature of African Americans, what's keeping you up at night? As a lawmaker right now, we're dealing with a lame duck president that's 2 years out. We on the eve of war, some people think. As a member of Congress, as people come here, what do you want people to come here for? When you think about the issues that really are concerned in your heart and members of Congress this week that will be at the table. So I think you got all this stuff going on from Ferguson to, we know about the internet, but you, Congressman Fattah, what is the burning thing in your heart right now that you want people to take away from this conference this week?
And Dr. King wrote his letter from a Birmingham jail. He said there was too much passivity around the challenges of that moment, right? Our biggest challenge has nothing to do with the obstacles we face. It has to do with our own willingness to carry our bale of water up the hill, right? We have to, so when we say it starts with you, we have to have an informed citizenry that's willing to be activated around the issues that are important to them. So last year, we announced we were investing $5 million of the foundation's resources in African American-owned banks. That was a signal to say that to the degree that we want to be involved in capital formation so that African American-owned businesses can go to a bank and borrow a loan, we need to put our own resources in those banks. We can't boycott our own financial institutions. And whether it's the access to professionals, we need to be utilizing professionals. We need to be actively engaged in empowering our own community and our own country. That is that we can't divorce our interests from the interests of the broader country, because we are in this boat together. But we do need to make sure that we are focused at the fact that we still live in a time in which, in any particular category of life circumstances, which is where the brother started his question on the Ferguson matter, there are still real disparities that exist, and that we have to address them. So what keeps me up and what I'm focused on is how to make sure that more people are activated and involved. It's not what is the CBC doing, or what is the Urban League doing, or what is the NWC. The question is, what are you doing? And that's the question we want to put forward so that we can get more people engaged. In this virtual community, we believe is going to be a wake-up call that allows people to have a full menu of activities and information that can lead to their own empowerment and to our collective empowerment. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Mr. Co-Chairman.
As co-chairman of the weekend, the ALC, to directly respond to your question, we hope that people will come here, whether they come here virtually by use of the Permanence Project, or if they come in person and participate in all of the issue forums and brain trusts, so that they are armed with information. But the most important thing that should keep us up at night is making sure that we do everything that we can do to eliminate that passivity and have people participate, because politics is nothing more than who gets what, when, and how. And that's what legislators do. That's what elected officials do. But the elected officials have to be elected. And of course, if we want to have a say as a community individually, then we have to individually participate in that selection process, in making sure that we put people in place that will put policies in place that will address all of the issues that we will be raising and talking about during this ALC weekend. And of course, the Permanence Project is another vehicle by which we can share the resources, share the information, so that people can be fired up enough to disprove what the pundits are saying, that people will not come out in a midterm election, because elections do count. And what happens for the next 2 years in this, as the gentleman suggested, a lame duck president, is going to be determined by who sits in the House and the Senate, who will have votes on the policies that are brought forth to address these many issues that we are dealing with. So that's why we're here. That's what the weekend is all about, and that's what the Permanence Project and that's what the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation is coming together for the 44th time to try to make sure that we can excite and motivate and inspire our communities all across this country to be involved, so that we can truly make a difference through the utilization of government, and thereby improving the quality of life.
Okay, that will conclude our conference. I want to thank all of our partners for being here, for Chairman Patai's vision for the Permanence Project, Shanice for pushing us to get it done, Congressman Bishop for your leadership as one of the co-chairs for the conference, our thought partner Al Motley, and of course Jen Mishery, our inaugural partner. I want to encourage you to sign up for the Permanence Project. Do so today. Everybody has an iPhone or other device, Android or whatever kind of device you have. Pull out your phone, your smartphone, and go to cbcfinc.org/Permanence Project. Thank you and enjoy the conference.